Avengers Academy is my brand of heroin. Avengers Academy is the devil incarnate. Avengers Academy is the literal box of Pandora. Avengers Academy is a phone game created by TinyCo, famous for such titles as Tiny Village, Tiny Castle, Tiny Monsters, and that Futurama game released 4 years after the show stopped airing, for some reason. Avengers Academy is their biggest game, however. It is a collectathon game based on the Marvel Universe where you recruit younger versions of Marvel heroes to join in a college called, you guessed it, Avengers Academy. So why, you may ask, am I taking a whole video to talk about some random phone game? Well, my reasons are twofold. Number one, my mum asked me to. Number two, I may be super addicted to this game and may have been for a year and a half. But hey, it could be worse. Could be Candy Crush. So what is this game really? And how could Kyle possibly be so addicted to it? It's an abusive relationship that steals away your life force and the promise of cool new characters you don't even need and refuses to give anything back. It's also a funny, well-written collectathon game where you assign your characters to do things so you can get more characters or upgrade the ones you have in a gameplay loop that's simple but addictive. In fact, I'd wager to say it's one of the best written phone games, specific emphasis on phone game, I've ever seen. The dialogue is consistently funny, and it's great at capturing each of these very different characters and how they would interact with each other, which is good, because the characters are essentially the main draw of the game, especially these days. You see, this game technically has a main story, but it's not complete. The game storyline stops after a certain point, and it hasn't been updated in over a year now. Instead, the game keeps players engaged with new special events each and every month based on current films, TV shows, holidays, and if none of them are applicable, then they take stuff from the comics, which is completely fine. In the long run, that's the only way the game could really stay relevant anyway. Otherwise, there would be nothing to do once you finish the main story. It also keeps the game fresh and ever expanding, but therein lays the great problem. With the main story came expansions to the campus area, where you place buildings and decor and penguins and such. And with every event comes new buildings and decor and penguins and such. Are you seeing the problem? Anyone who's been playing as long as me knows, we're running out of space. And maybe 3 more events and we will be out of space, which is bad, and I'm not looking forward to it. The obvious solution would be to release the next story arc, right? But like I said, it's been over a year, so, you know, I don't have super high expectations of that happening. Oh, that doesn't stop them teasing us though. Several of the events this year have included early access characters that will be introduced in the story at a later date. Even the current event, Thor Ragnarok, is guilty of this with, well, Thor. It seemed kind of cruel or rude or something. Why keep the dream alive? Seems to me if they were really going to release a new story update, we would have had it by now. I'm honestly not sure. Forgetting about any story mode and just focusing on events seems like a perfectly fine business strategy, possibly even better than investing in non-game expansion. So why keep saying that there will be an expansion? Why must you hurt us in this way, TinyCo? Why? The wiki editors have decided that's the case, as they no longer class the characters as early access and instead group them in with the regular event characters. Not that I would know anything about editing a wiki for a phone game or anything. I, of course, have a cynical theory to why this might be the case. Money! You see, this game makes money in the classic phone game fashion with microtransactions in the form of shards. Shards are used to buy special buildings, speed up character actions, and most importantly, buy penguins' characters, special premium characters. Premium sounds nice and all, but you know what sounds better? Early access. You get to have Thor before anyone else can. You are special. This is just a theory, of course, but let's face it, at the end of the day, it's always about money. How else would they gain the ever so flattening nickname GreedyCo? Hey, I'm certainly not immune. I've been known to take the occasional Iron Fist deal. After all, I'd feel bad after playing a game for over a year if I didn't support the creators in some way. But I'm definitely not a paid player, and I'm absolutely not a whale, someone who spends a very large amount of money on the game. Not that I'm judging you if you are that kind of person, don't get me wrong. What you do with your money is your business. As long as you're aware that's exactly what they want you to do. 1 whale is worth 50 of me in their eyes. At least until they do an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. event. Then I'm all in. No game is complete without some Fitzsimmons, mushy, gooey, lovey stuff. Maybe I'm being too hard on dear old TinyCo. You don't put this much effort into a game if you don't take at least a little pride in your work. And the artists, programmers, and writers are all still in top form even after all this time. So credit where credit's due. They deserve the money they're making. Especially compared to smaller phone games these days. Also, this game has voice acting, sort of. When you tap a character, they say some stuff. For the most part, they cast people that sound pretty similar to how you'd expect them to sound. Except this guy. This Hawk guy. You'd probably assume him to sound, you know, Jeremy Renner-ish.
Nobody would know. Nobody.
But no, Hawkeye is voiced by none other than Gus Sorolla of Rooster Teeth fame.
You miss all the shots you don't take.
Now I love Gus, homo intended.
Hawkeye rhymes with cool guy.
And he's been voice acting in Red vs. Blue for 14 years now. But Hawkeye?
I can handle it. I can handle whatever.
What on earth was that casting choice based on? I honestly can't think of anything, nor is it really a downfall of the game because I mute all the noise anyway, but I don't know. It's just kinda weird.
Can't you take a joke?
The music is fairly forgettable. As I said, I play on mute, and it's a fun game, so it has no achievements. That being said, my obsession with achievements and my obsession with collecting all the characters are probably linked. Gotta educate them all. Prepare for some story talk, so spoiler warning, skip to this point. 3, 2, 1. As a game with over 100 characters and counting, this game obviously has a lot of story threads. But the main one throughout seems to be that Nick Fury, Odin, and Hank Pym are in some sort of global catastrophe deleted timeline and built a school over the supposed time crack or something in order to protect it from some greater evil. Probably that Big Purple did. And it's kind of interesting. Or it was. Thanos has been on his way for so long now it doesn't really seem real anymore, and most of the students have kind of figured out this plan by now. But still, interesting concept. No, my main problem is dating consistency. Yup. You see characters in this game. Some of them are dating. Makes sense. It is a college after all. You probably don't want to know what happens in that dorm room, especially the Maverick dorms, but the game consistently mixes up who's dating who and what's happening, and it makes them all seem like really, really bad people. Cue that melodramatic music. Ant-Man and Wasp are kind of dating, but Wasp also hits on Thor a lot. Falcon is dating Miss Marvel, but also Falcon went on a date with Black Widow and Spider-Woman, and is also kind of into Mockingbird. Daredevil has some sort of thing with Pepper Potts, but is also dating Elektra. And Spider-Man, well, he's the worst of all. He's dating Mary Jane, and Gwen Stacy, and Black Cat, and Silver Sable, and Silk, and even went on a date with Black Widow. I mean, seriously, what an absolutely awful guy Spider-Man is. Unless they're all into it, I guess. Was that a weird rant to go off on? That was probably a weird rant, wasn't it? Anyway, spoilers over now. The community for this game is an interesting one. It's not a multiplayer game at all, of course, but the subreddit and Wicca, whatever, are both fairly active from what I've seen. There are two groups in the community. The Angries, people who apparently hate the game but keep playing anyway, and the Me's, with an attitude of cynical acceptance of their fate. We all know that this is an abusive game, but we're all addicted to it. We're all screwed, and we're okay with that. That sounds a little dark, doesn't it? It is kind of dark. The game's designed to be addictive, and it's very good at it. I couldn't tell you all the details. I'm not a psychologist. I'm an architect. In training. Seriously though, every single post by the Avengers Academy Facebook page has an angry react. Every single post. I mean seriously, if you don't like the game, stop playing it. And if you're still playing the game, then you don't really hate it. Just accept your fate like the rest of us. So where do I stand on this game? I hate it and I love it. It's both the worst and best game ever. I want to smash it, I want to give it all my money. Should you play it? Probably not. But if you're anything like me, you've probably already started the install, eh? That's all I've got to say. As always, feel free to discuss. And if you think I should be locked in a sealed room with a rampaging Hulk, mention that too. Tatty bye now.